Yes, colleagues, let's prepare for campaigns and we'll start to I think we can call it revolutionary, for people power and national unity question. NUP first. NUP everywhere. NUP. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown in the new Uganda. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown in the new Uganda. Olutalo baluwete tuliyambale ngule, tuliyambale ngule, tuliyambale ngule. Olutalo baluwete tuliyambale ngule, tulivimba mu Uganda. NUP everywhere, everywhere. NUP people power. Our power. People power. And God bless. Thank you. Please be seated. Sami, prayer. Sami na prayer.
The person who prayed, prayer. And the singer.
Yeah. It's okay to cover them.
Could you make adjustments a little? Okay. I know the prayer was precise to the point. It was a wonderful prayer. All right, thank you for coming today. I don't know if the sound is good. Is it good? Is it good? You know, for us, the sign meaning good is this one, not the other one. Okay, we'll proceed and see how things go. I want to welcome all of you. It's good to see the leadership of Makerere University. Please stand. The leaders of Makerere University, led by the guild president. Your Excellency, Shamim Nambasa, it's good to see you here. Congratulations. And even before I start, please come and say hello to us, since you are a Mugole in that regard.
People power, our power. Day and night, every day, because so as we move forward, we are saying the young generation must be heard. We have a voice and we are going to be represented, and this is our space. And thank you so much, NUP. Thank you for giving a space to win a young generation, because there is nowhere else we are welcome other than that. And we are really grateful. I want to thank everyone that did what they could for us to win this race. But our campaign ends when we step out of office. So we are just starting. Thank you so much. People power, our power, NUP, everywhere. Thank you so much.
And awesome. Powerful stuff. We delight in seeing the young people embrace the cause of change. As a party, we delight in that.
network
Because the future is today, as our president keeps saying. So we must embrace discourse, we must do everything within our powers. We must use all the good English, all the good Uganda and all the other languages. We must use everything within our ammunition, the energy, the castro, to see that push for change. So we are very proud of you, President Nambasa. We have a lot of hope in you. We are sure you're not going to let us down. And when I say we, I mean the National Unity Platform, but Uganda that have eventually used that and catapulted into national politics. So we are watching you. Shamim, by the way, is studying to become a pharmacist, a medic. As the National Unity Platform, we stand with medical workers in this country. You notice that they started a strike today, a sit-down strike, because they are saying they want better pay, they want better remuneration, they want better working conditions, they want PPEs, personal protective equipment. Over 50 doctors died since the start of the COVID pandemic. They succumbed to COVID-19. Some because they did not protective equipment. And to date, I understand, as is stipulated in the Workmen's Compensation Act, their families have not been compensated. Of course, you cannot compensate life, but to say you have done a good job, now that you are gone, let's see how we can take care of your family. That has not happened. And for all these reasons, the medical workers have said we are laying down our tools. We do not want people to die, and I'm sure the doctors don't want that to happen, but they're saying, for us to save life, our lives must be taken care of. So we stand with the medical workers. We believe in their cause, very much so. We believe that they must be taken serious. We believe that they must be valued. If we can buy patrols, tankers, mambas, and all these different things, why can't we take care of our medical workers? Many of them are running away to go where they are valued. So the cause of the medical workers is the cause of Ugandans. So as Ugandans, we pray that we shall rally behind them so that things get better. They have been promised several. These promises have got to be fulfilled. Why do you make promises that you don't fulfill? Anyhow, let me get to a couple of issues that I want to raise, then I invite leaders to speak to you as well. Last week, you noticed the country witnessed bombings in Kampala. Very sad state of affairs. And as the National Unity Platform, we commiserate with the bereaved families, commiserate with the families of those that lost their loved ones. And our prayers, our hearts go out to those who are injured. We pray and hope that they will recuperate soon enough. And our prayers that the rest of the country stands with everybody that is going through this very difficult time. We must be vigilant. We must be alert. We must look out for one another as a people. That's the only way we can fight terrorism. So let's be vigilant, let's be alert, let's be on the lookout, let's have each other's back. That's very important. But again, as the National Unity Platform, there's things that are not going right. And we are disconcerted. We condemn extrajudicial killings that are happening in the name of killing terrorists. We have seen people put on handcuffs and they're killed. It does not make sense at all. It goes against the laws of the land. It goes against humanity. Article 28(3)(a) of our country's constitution provides for presumption of innocence until guilt is proved. But people are being put on handcuffs. There's a now popular Sheikh Chirevu who was handcuffed and then killed when his children were watching. That is wrong. We saw Mudasiru, same situation that happened to him. Police said they chased after him till twice and killed him from there, but the children said no, he was killed on their premises at home. And several others that have been killed. It raises so many questions. If you're saying these are suspects, why don't you give them a chance to face trial? Because we all want the perpetrators of these heinous acts to be brought to justice. But can we give them a chance to face trial? That's important. Otherwise, you cannot try them, sentence them, and execute them at one go, the same person. No. Because also, if you are saying these are critical suspects and they have critical information to share, I would imagine that as the state, it is within your interest to make sure these people remain alive so that you get information from them. But now you have killed them. And that's why there's a lot of suspicion. What are you trying to hide? Many Ugandans are actually bothered and they're thinking there's something being hidden. Because if you handcuff somebody and then you kill them, you are definitely hiding something. And we want to know what this is. We are radicalizing a young generation because if you kill somebody's father, I mean, these people are killed right before they are little children. This child is watching her father, his father, being shot dead by the state. What do you imagine is going through their minds, even as they continue to grow? They will be bitter, they will be angry, they will be radicalized. I hope that as a country we can get those young people help, because we might read something worse. So we condemn these extrajudicial killings, and we are saying the perpetrators have got to be called to order, because that's what the law provides for. If you kill somebody because they are a suspect, they have not been proved guilty and sentenced by a competent court, which then says, okay, they deserve to die, and you take it upon yourself to do it, you are committing a crime. And so our hope is that the perpetrators now of these criminal activities will be called to order. We are also bothered about the religious profiling that is happening. It appears as though for every heinous act that happens, it is the Muslims who are being accused. When Abiliga was killed, when Kawesi was killed, they were going to mosques and raiding, picking up all the Muslims they could find. They would take them, torture them, and yet eventually, most of these, courts set them free because they were innocent. It's happening now again. The narrative, the template that has been set is that it is Muslims who are doing that. And yet by doing that, we end up shooting offside. Because now, the state seems to be going after Muslims, as opposed to going after the terrorists. A terrorist could be a Muslim, but they could belong to any other religion. But now, if you have made up your mind that it is Muslims, you end up shooting offside. That you now are going specifically for a certain religious sect, as opposed to going after criminals. That's a problem. So it is very concerning to us, because we need to look for terrorists, not people belonging to a particular religion. And that's what happened with the Kawesi killings and so on. They raided and picked up Muslims, tortured them, and eventually court said, no, there's no evidence linking these people to the killing. So that's a problem. You are going for a religion as opposed to going for the real criminals. So our hope is that sanity can prevail. Our hope is that we can use logic and know that a criminal is a criminal, regardless of the tribe they belong to, the religion they belong to, the color of their skin, or whatever the case might be. Once we look for the real criminals, it's possible we shall find them. But once we look for a religion, a tribe, we are certainly going to shoot offside. We think that we need to focus quite a bit on crime intelligence as opposed to political intelligence. The state invests heavily in trying to establish where is Bobby Wine today, what is he planning. They invest heavily in that kind of intelligence. How much is invested in crime intelligence? How much are we doing to make sure that particular area is taken care of? You remember a story in Bukomansimbi when the killings in Masaka were rife. Parliament's Defense and Internal Affairs Committee went to that sub-region, and they were in Bukomansimbi, and they were interacting with one OC called Maurice Abongo. And he told them the truth. He said, look, I'm the OC in this area, but we have one police truck which is supposed to do surveillance in a wide place. Many times it does not have fuel. And he told them, so the OC was saying, said, look, I earn a small salary. I can't say I'm going to fuel this truck when people call us about an incident. Because that time the Jambia, incident was happening a lot. And he said they would get calls many times. There's a suspicious person here, there's this incident, please come to our help. And he could not rally his troops to go on the ground because they didn't have something as basic as fuel. And when that man spoke what he spoke, he was arrested by Jim Muhwezi, security minister. And I thought, Jim Muhwezi, you should be focusing now on fixing what this officer is talking about. He's saying we don't have the tools to do our work, to go out there, carry out operations, etc., etc. And they arrested him for speaking the truth. Can we invest more in this area? Yesterday I was moving in my constituency, one of the barracks there, and I had an interaction with wives of police officers. And they told me what they go through. The husbands earn a small salary, it is slashed for different things to pay for water and electricity, which is switched off during the day. They told me the situations they go through. You find those little mama India police, they stay in. You find like 3 families separated by curtains. Many times the salaries of these officers come late, little as they are. They will not complain because they will be court-martialed. And these are the people we expect to go out there and do this work. They are demotivated, but somehow we expect them to perform miracles. It cannot happen. We must put our money where our mouth is. We can afford all these members, patrols, and all these different things. Why do we not invest in crime intelligence? So we think that that's an area that needs to be taken care of. As NUP, we've also noticed the continuous breakage of trust between the armed forces information that one's meant to provide this intel. Because we don't think you fight terrorism by buying big guns, parading them all over the place. No. Terrorism is sophisticated. It's information. And you find that many times the wananchi, as we call them, they have a bit of information. They notice a neighbor who has begun to rent a place, they are suspicious, but they will fear to tell police because they're thinking they will be arrested too. They might pick them and say, okay, looks like you have quite a bit of information. There has been a breakage of that trust. We need to rebuild that. Many years ago, Ugandans used to trust a great deal the UPDF. That trust has waned, that trust has lessened. Why? Because the UPDF is now participating in heinous activities. They are killing people, they beat them up on the streets, they engage themselves in electoral malpractice and so on. So the people no longer trust them. So we think that this trust gets to be rebuilt. Information, because many times they know, they have an idea. They live in the communities. We need to be able to fix that. Finally, from me, one of the other challenges we are grappling with as a country is poverty and unemployment. And COVID-19 has worsened the situation with this unending, senseless, illogical curfew, which has killed the whole night economy. Borders cannot operate at night because you'll find one border will work during the day and then at night somebody else will use it. So it is feeding about 2 or even more families. But that can't happen now. Restaurants that would operate at night, supermarkets, shops, etc., etc. That whole night economy died. People lost work. And so there's poverty all over the place. Young people are desperate. And when they are desperate, and that's why, I kept hearing security saying they are recruiting young people who are gullible and they are broke because they have nothing moving for them. We must be able to fix that. I saw last week there are some young people from Bale who apparently had crossed from NUP to NRA. And they had been promised money, businesses, houses. All these things are not fulfilled. So now the young people called a press conference and said, we are going to cross back to NUP because the promises you made to us have not been fulfilled. They're desperate, so they will go against even a belief they hold dear. They know that change is important and they want change. But because they are broke, when they are thrown or made some promises here and there, it becomes easy for them to say, okay, let me try and survive. So this is an issue we must be able to fix as a country. We must be able to fix our economy. COVID-19 came, but again, we have used it to make things worse. I see there are some other Bazoganyi that have joined us. You're very welcome. Is that part of the team from Makerere? Ah, this is a team from MOBS. You're very welcome. I see you're very smart. Oh, is that the uniform of MOBS? Red and black? Because I'm told these universities nowadays, they are telling you to get school uniform. It's good to see MOBS. Nice. Somebody was telling me that for a long time, MOBS used to be very calm and dull and quiet. But there's young people nowadays who are saying, no, we know our rights and we want to stand up for those rights. You know, so it is no longer called, like I used to hear it being called, Makerere University Boarding School, MOBS. It is now a serious institution, breeding young leaders who are saying, no, when we see injustice, we must stand up against injustice and say no. So we salute you, MOBS. Thank you for coming through this morning. I'll very quickly translate what I've said into Luganda, and then I'll invite colleague leaders. Natandikidde wali, of course, nga twogera ku nsonga za Makerere, Guild President wali wano. Asoma kubeera musawo gwe bayita pharmacist. Era ffe nga NUP tuyimirira wamu n'abasawo. Mwalabye eggulo abasawo baavudde ne bagamba nti olunaku lwaleero bagenda tandika okwekalakaasa. Lwaki beekalakaasa? Bagamba babasuubiza okumala emyaka n'ebisiibo. Akasente ke bafuna katono, tebalina bya kukozesa, protective equipment. Bafuna COVID ne bafa, abasawo basoba mu 50 bafa nene kaakano. Ab'enganda zaabwe tebafunye kasiima ako ke bayita compensation n'ebirala balina okwemulugunya kwa njawulo. So bagambye nti katwekalakaase. Abasawo bano bagamba nti baagala okutaasa obulamu, naye mu kutaasa obulamu baagala obulamu bwabwe nabwo butaasibwe. Ffe nga NUP tuyimirira wamu n'abasawo kuba tugamba nti nedda oba tusobola okugula sinemamba n'ebirala byonna zitiyagaasa ebintu eby'essente empitirivu ne tuzonoona mu bitategeerekeka. Abasawo bano bafiibweko. So bavayo ne bagamba nti obizannyo mutuukirize. Ffe tugamba nti ekyo kituufu. Abasawo bano bye babasuubira bituukirizibwe. Wiiki ewedde mwalaba ekyagwa mu ggwanga lyaffe ekibwatukira ebikolwa eby'obutujju bomu ezaagwawo. Era ffe nga NUP twagala okusaasira ab'enganda zaabo abaatuva ku maaso kitalo nnyo kitalo ddala. Era nga tusabira n'abo abaafuna obukosefu basobole okusuuka mu bwangu ddala. Bwe guli bwe gutyo waliwo ffe be tulabye ebitali bituufu. Tulabye okutta abantu, mu Luzungu kye tuyita extrajudicial killing, nti omuntu omusse tafunye na chance kwewozaako. Nga bagamba nti olwo tumukutte mutujju ne babateekako empingu ne bakuba amasasi ne babatta. Bane tetukyali mu nsiko. Mwami Museveni ne banno temukyali mu nsiko banne. Mulekerawo okweyisa nga abayeekera. Tulina ssemateeka efuga eggwanga lyaffe. Omuntu oba oteebereza nti yazizza omusango mukwate mutwale mu kkooti yeewozeeko. Kuba muba mukakasa nti bano balina akakwate ku bulumbagano obwaliwo. Lwaki temwagala beewozeeko? Ki kye mugezaako okukweka? Kuba bannayuganda kati beebuuza naye abantu bano amutadde ku mpingu ate omukubye amasasi n'afa. Kirabika olina ky'okweka bwe kifaanagana. Ate mugamba nti yes balina akakwate, kati tusubiddwa omukisa okufuna information, okufuna ebintu ebimu okuva ku bantu bano. Kwanze ngamba omuntu oyo wali mukwasenga kyatika okulaba nti asigala ali bulungi tafa, osobole okumuggyamu ebirala ebyenjawulo kuba abo boogamba nti alina akakwate ku nsonga z'obulumbagano buli. Naye kaakati omusse. So ffe tugamba nti ekikolwa kino kikyamu. Era twagala abakoze ekikolwa kino kubanga kimenya amateeka bakwatibwe bakangavulwe. Kuba omuntu ono gosse kkooti yeyina okusalawo nti mutujju nti yazza omusango guno. So si ggwe okusalawo nti kakati gwe oli mutujju n'omusaliro ogw'okufa n'okumutta n'omutta. Ate n'ekirala ku nsonga eyo kubanga abantu bano tubalaba bambi battibwa mu maaso g'abaana baabwe abato. Omwana oyo olowooza ajja kula ng'alowooza ki? Ajja kula nga munyiivu. Kibujja ayinza n'okukola by'ataalikoze kubanga alabye ekikolwa kino nga taata we bamutta maaso ge. So tulina okwegendereza ng'eggwanga ebintu bye tukola. Ensonga endala ffe gye tuwakanya y'eyokulowooza nti abasiraamu batujju. Weewo omutujju ayinza okuba nga musiraamu n'ayinza okuba nga wa ddiini ndala nnyo. Naye kati bwe tulowooza nti kaakati tulina gendera abasiraamu be batujju, ekyo kiba kikyamu, tuba tukuba offside. Wakati ojja gendera eddiini oluusi ate abakozi b'ebikolwa bino obave nako kubanga tagwa mu ddiini gwe gy'olowooza n'ogaa nti aka tugendere bano. Tuze tubiraba. Abiriga bwe yattibwa, Joan Kagezi, Kaweesi n'abalala baayoolanga abasiraamu ne bagenda mu masijidi zaabwe, emizikiti ne babayoola, ne babatwala ne babatulugunya. Ate mu kubatulugunya eventually amakooti ne gagamba nti okunoonyereza kubaddewo abantu bano n'abuulira amazima n'abagamba nti kati nze abatuuze batera okungubira ne bagamba tulina gwe tulebyeko alinga nje tujambiyewe emmotoka eyo tebeeramu n'amafuta. Osi n'agamba abakanze akasaala njenfuna akatono siyinza teeka mu motoka mafuta. Kyovudde olaba emirimu gyaffe gisereba. Jimuwezi Minister of Security yakola oyo osi ate n'amusiba lwakwogera mazima. Mu kifo ky'okutereeza, mu kifo ky'okugonjoola ensonga osi zaayogeddeko tebalina bikola. So ffe tugamba nti ensonga y'ebikola tugisengesera. Bano abasirikale bafuusonja be bakola gino emirimu naye bo tubafuddeko. Nabadde mu constituency yange zi barracks eziriyo olaba embeera abasirikale baffe gye bali ng'ennyamiza. Kasaala bafuna katono bakatema kujjako ez'amazzi ez'amasanyalaze ate nga amasanyalaze bagajjako buli kanaku emisala tegabeerako n'amazzi nga bali mu mbeera embi. Akasaala oluusi kalwawo tebajja kwemulugunya kubanga bajja batwala mu kooti maasho. Kati bano betutataddeeko ssira betusuubira nti bajja kukola okunoonyereza intelligence n'ebirala tekisoboka. So ffe tugamba nti awaawaawo tulina okussaawo essira kubanga poliisi kola bajeti yayo nene, security classified nene, naye tefudde ku bano abalina okukola emirimu. Ensonga endala ffe gye tusuubira nti yankizo nnyo. Ebbanga eryayita waabeerangawo okukolagana wakati w'abantu ba bulijjo ne security b'amagye naki, era nga waliwo okwesigaŋŋana. Munaye tekukyaliwo ate nga abantu bano aba bulijjo be babeera ne information be babeera nga balina okubuulira poliisi n'amagye nti kaakati wano waliwo kino nakino, naye kati batya kubanga balaba poliisi battamusi bantu abasirikale naki, aba atya nti osanga bwentwalayo information yange nange bayinza okunsiba oluusi n'okunzita nga balooza mbirimu. Kati abantu basirikidde information kubanga obutujju togenda kulwanyisa na mamba nenti okuze emmamba ennene ebimumbe ebinene n'obiteeka wali edda. Information eba eva mu bantu. Abantu bano tebakyesiga bannaffe abali mu security. Ensonga eyo tulina ogitereeza ng'eggwanga bwe tuba twagala okulwanyisa obutujju. Nja kusembyayo eno ensonga ey'obwavu n'ebbula ly'emirimu. Abavubuka abaffe bayitirivu bangi basomyeko n'okusoma naye tebalina mirimu, bali bubi. Abavubuka bonawulira mu security bagamba nti abana abatujju bafunayo abaana awo ne babasuubizayo akasente naki, balaki tebabigendemu nga tebalina kitambula. Wiiki ewedde nalaba mawulire waliwo abavubuka eyo mu bitundu by'Embaale baali basaze eddira okuva mu NUP mu kalulu awo ne bagenda mu NRM nga basuubiza sente n'ebirala. Kati wiiki ewedde baali tulukuŋŋaana abannamule ne bagamba nti ffe tuddayo mu NUP kubanga bye batusuubiza sente n'ebirala tebabituukirizanga. So abavubuka baffe bayala nnyo. Ensonga eno tulina ogikolako ng'eggwanga kuba bwe tutagikolako omuntu gy'aba ayinza okufuna omuvubuka awo abatalina kye bakola n'amusuubiza akasente genda okole kino. So tulina ogissaako ennyo essira ng'eggwanga. Mwebale kumpuliriza, njagala kuyita abamu ku bakulembeze bannange. Kampite Meya Ali Nganda Mulyanyama, ono naye musiraamu, simanyi oba naye atiddemukko nti saawa yonna bayinza okumuyoola ajja ayogereko ddakiika 2. Ssebo ekitibwa Meya.
People power. Our power. And no boy. No boy. You know, I have a story for Madam Vice President. Last Friday, KCC was praying UPDF. Let me talk to where I'm feeling comfortable, my mother tongue. You know, in 1986, it was 13th March, when Museveni just took power. He was met the Acholi leaders. There's a book, he wrote a book called The Price of the Bad Leadership. He said, I found it to speak to you in English as if I'm a colonial governor. And they blamed Obote and Amini because there was a bad leadership for the last 32 years. But since now he sounds straight, because even he addressed the nation, he's speaking English. But he never, Uganda has many language, local language, but never notified any single language. But since now, but it was in 1986. So I'm very sorry to speak to you in my mother tongue to feel comfortable. I'm sorry for that. Madam Vice President, I have a story on last Friday. KCC aliye samba UPDF. UPDF neteva KCC within 8 minutes. Mpira ne kugenda within 9 minutes. There was a captain. When I get it, I overmanyi twawangula akawulu. Navamu ekigamba amazima tegekweka. You know, obulimba bukeera nnyo tebunaaba maaso, tebugenda mu bathroom, naye amazima gajjanga ssaawa 5 ge gabeera kungo. A UPDF officer was a captain, was next to me. N'agamba abakasisi ne muleeta kaadi ya nupu ewangula temuwangula. Ninga n'abantu bakimanyi kaadi ya nupu yewangula. And the end of the day nengireeta KCC ne kugoba Billy Wanu in 80 minutes. So nabo bakimanyi ti kaadi ya nupu yekola ki? Yewangula. So I'm here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Haj Ali Kasilenganda Muyanyam, the mayor of Machinga. In a addressing an Amway Sadi note. Tituli wano, our brothers and sisters, the Muslims, Baba Tanga Vienji. Mami Museveni blamed Idi Amin. Umanya Amini, wazango musango. Yakuletanga kusawa ya kwini awo wali wemiti. I was young and so much bully. Naleta abantu ne baba siba emiguwa ne baba shooting. Era nakati ye kyakola. We are fighting terrorism until we are promoting mob justice. Buli watirawo omuntu oyina sayini gyolaga eri aba boda eri abaana baffe nti omuntu wakola ekibonerezo mu mutirawo. So being with the name of Ali, when you read the Masari Seed, page maybe 28, himself, Farasinamu tugamba hadithi evakwani. Evaku Abu Bakari. Katingawa ne ya nope, hadithi evaku Secretary General, Vice President, tugamba swadakita agomazima, kubanga secretariat. Himself, yewako obujulizi bwa Museveni ngasoma mu University of Dar es Salaam. Nagamba nga tulwanyisa Amin, twefuulanga abasiraamu. Himself, era standing ko mukatabo kenyini. Nakamba neyitanga Abdallah, olusi Musa, olusi Kasimu nga nyambala n'enkofiira ya Busiraamu. Himself. Tuwadde wano basabani bantaliza. Chef Ali, Sali Musale. Lwaki Sali Musale wagaba ebintu tebaga nti abasiraamu bagaba ebintu. So bateekawo okutiisatiisa mu basiraamu. Era njagala okwebaza Catholic Church baakutte ku Mugisha, Father Mugisha. Ne basirika bamuwandagadde munaku mmeka. For us Muslim batutaddemu okutya. Naye ffe abusiraamu dini Allah. Feeling a form. We didn't feel form to being a Muslim in Uganda. Mwami Museveni afuna information yenfumba intelligence way. Oyabadde ayogera eggwanga yayogedde n'akeedi eriwala nnyo ku CPS. Ekyo kiraga nti information gyalina nfu. Ng'akeedi eyo teriranyeeko ku CPS. Weyayogedde bannamawulire mu kikwotinge mukimanyi. Akeedi eri wansi n'agamba nti akeedi eyo eriranye ku CPS. Kitegeeza ne information gye bamuwaaki. Apiara owafu ayogeddeko. Intelligence nakolako ku intelligence mu America. Intelligence bagikwata n'ennyingo nnya. Detective, investigation, protection, fighting yesembayo. Never detective bali awo banoonya Honorable Kyagulanyi wagenda. They must be blamed themselves okuma bana Uganda. So we are here. okuleeta eddoboozi lyaffe ku lw'abanuupu, ku lwa Munnayuganda ne baganda baffe abasiraamu, n'okuba omwami ate n'omukyala n'omutwala ebyo yapiminganga Apote. Omukyala omututte abaana ne basigala awo ttayo. Mwami Museveni bamutuuzaako butuuza awo Kireka ne mukyala we, era yanyini yakyogera, bamutuuza Kireka awo wansi ku road block ng'ate ye vice president w'okumulembe gwa Lutwa. Kyamuluma nnyo naye kati now you shitting the dirt. You took the mama. Now kikyosiga obukyayi obwo bwosiga. So n'olwekyo my brothers, abasiraamu n'abatali basiraamu, ffe we are against. Era Nuupu yavaayo bakuba Sebulime Kayunga. Twali against kyo. So our brothers and sisters abasiraamu tubeere bagumu. Nebaza nnyo president waffe Kyagulanyi. Message yateeka ku Twitter. Era wano wenjagala nga mmaliriza okoola our leaders of all sectors okuvaayo n'eddoboozi lumu. Bataddewo okutya mu mitima gyaffe. Naye wallahi billahi tallahi ne onaaba oli kyo ojja kufa. Maiti ziizo bakola musango ki wallahi. Bakola musango ki. Bw'osoma Yobo abamanyi Bayibuli amwe Muslim essuula ndowooza esooka layiri 19:21 Yobo yafiirwa abaana 10 ndowooza pastor my secretary we pastor. Yobo yafiirwa abaana 10 ne babamubikira. Naye oli yamubikira yamugamba nti najja bwereere era ngenda buki. Why are you killing our brothers and sisters? Aina Abubakar fa abasiraamu we tugamba. Why are you killing us? Shooting on the site mu bulimba ki teri muntu ayinza kuwa information yaweza kugamba nina tanka ate omukubidde awo. Muyina kye mukisa kye muganya okubuulira abantu. Naye wanudde wallahi wajja kubawo olunaku mu nnaku essaawa mu ssaawa eddakiika mu ddakiika nga musibyemu ebyammwe. Oba muli kwata ly'ebusiya oba ly'entebe Allah yasinga okumanya. Lwaki munyigiriza abantu? Omusiraamu waliwo omukwano gwange maama we yamukubire namugamba lwaki tokkeeza kirevu, naye omwana yaganya okikendeeza. Katonda yasinga okumanya. Maliriza na kino. Embwa ezaala abaana 8. Ente ezaala omwana ate buli lunaku bagirya, naye embwa tesinganga nte bungi. Kubanga ente eri ku mazima agaliibwa. Mukitegedde? Embwa ezaala abaana 8. Naye ente buli lunaku ne ova e Masaka buca. Naye embwa tesinganga nte buki? Newe munatta, ne mutamulya nnyama, ne mutaani kubanga nze mmanyi waliwo olunaku mu nnaku essaawa mu ssaawa bajja okumbika. Ekyo si kyekikulu. Naye naali yagadde nnyo okulaba ng'eggwanga lino weeriri nga Mwami Museveni si ye president. Kubanga eggwanga alifugira ku bikukujju. Ekyo nkiddamu, eggwanga alifugira ku bikukujju. Nze mbadde ntambuddeko ensi naye kambikomyawo lwa Katonda n'ensi yange. Abakulembeze b'abasiraamu sibalagira kubanga mukama wange. Move all sectors. Ensonga si ya Kibuli, si ya Odi Kampala, si ya Nakasero, ekwata our brothers and sisters. Tuvumirira obutujju, naye singa Kibwetere bakwata abalokole bonna. Kibwetere yali mulokole, singa bakwata abalokole bonna, singa bano betulaba ku street kwe bali baganda baffe. Singa Joseph Kony bakwata abakatuliki bonna, oba ne babakuba amasasi, tufayingire ddala omuntu omutuufu, tumuleete mu bitabo. Ayinza okuba ye Ali nga si ye Ali, nga ye Dani, naye nga gwe buli muzikiti okwata abantu. Ssaabasajja Kabaka awangaale for God and my country. God bless you.
Abyogedde. Let me invite our SG, David Lewis, to come and address us too. People power, our power. Madam Vice President and all the NEP leaders here, in a special way, our Guild President of Makerere and our flag bearer for MOVES and our comrades from those universities, members of the press. We're delighted to have you here today. I'll just use very few minutes and then I'll invite our Vice President to close this presser. I also join other leaders in commiserating with the families of those who lost loved ones in the bombs last week. And of course, as you all know, last week we were remembering our people who were murdered last year in November. Their pictures are still here because it is important for all of us to remember
these are our people who were killed. And many people keep asking, what value does life have in this country, where security forces can just descend on ordinary citizens and kill them in cold blood? And up to now we are saying that there has been no investigation, there has been no accountability, nothing. The regime simply closed that chapter and moved on. And that's what we keep seeing, even with the deaths, the extrajudicial killings of our brothers and sisters, the Muslims. They just shoot someone and it ends there. There's no accountability, there's no investigation, nothing. They just close that chapter and move on. So we condemn that in the strongest terms possible, but I'm also fortified in the words of our mayor, who has simply said that a time will come and there will be justice, there will be accountability. We know that for sure, as morning follows night, that there will be a time when all these crimes will be accounted for. We are continuing to do with our mobilization nationally. Unfortunately, as you all know, we are getting very, very many challenges. Our mobilization team in Kasese is still under detention, and many other places, people who continue to be picked up. So it's been tough, and many people ask why we don't, talk about these programs and make them public. But one of the challenges we have is that. And indeed, last week we wrote to the IGP and demanded for answers. Why NUP is looked at, even when we are registered political parties in this country, when we're a registered political party in this country, why we continue to be looked at as a criminal organization or something like that. When we write to the DPCs to ask them for space to do radio talk shows, they refuse to even acknowledge receipt of our requests for these events. And they all say go to the DPs, to the IGP, and of course it is a continuous circus. And so our people in Kasese are having those challenges. Our people in Kayunga are being harassed. As you all know, there is a by-election in Kayunga, and NUP leaders and members are being harassed day in, day out. You also saw what happened in Lira, in Mbale, and even yesterday in Masaka when our president went to participate in a church event, and many citizens were tear gassed and others arrested, etc., etc. We also continue to condemn the continuing detention of political prisoners. As you all know, Honorable Alan Sewanya, now Honorable Muhammad Segirinya, and we don't want to forget these people, because they're activists. Some who are Chitalia in hundreds, others who are in Chigo and other places, both male and female. Away from that, the question of our security forces is still critical to us, because when you're fighting terrorism, one of the things we need to look at is the welfare of the people who are supposed to keep security, keep law and order in this country. And of course, as you remember in our manifesto, we promised the people of Uganda that we are going to improve the welfare of security forces, especially, of course, in all categories. But even while we're trying to improve their welfare, we also demand that they treat citizens with dignity and with respect for their rights and freedoms. So we know that you cannot fight terrorism when when the security forces are not even motivated to do the work that they are supposed to do, and I think my brother Joel tried to speak to those issues. Finally, I will talk about our comrades, Councillor Ameli. Many people have been asking about his condition. He's improving, although he's still not in a very good state. And our senior leader also, Jaja NUP, has also not been feeling well. So they've been fundraising. Of course, as a party, we've tried to assist them in many ways, but they are making public appeals for those who can assist them. It is a shame that, 36 years of this regime, many Ugandans cannot find good health care here in this country, and they have to go abroad to look for treatment in India and other places. So even as we struggle to take leadership and eventually improve the healthcare in this country, those our comrades need help to be able to access advanced treatment, which is extremely, extremely expensive in India, in the US where Councillor Ameli is, etc., etc. So we hope that those issues will be, that the citizens, when they see these fundraisers, can be able to take part in those. I will not translate what I've said in Luganda because Mama will try to speak some Luganda. And so without wasting any other time, I want to invite you, Madam Deputy President, to speak some Luganda and officially close. People power, our power.
Thank you so much. People power, our power. Oritia, Oritia, Oritia. Of course, we are fearless. We are generation and party unstoppable. With due respect to my president, the elected de facto and de jure president of the Republic of Uganda, who is on official duties, the Secretary General, Your Excellencies, the members of Parliament, the Lord, the Mayor, Your Worship, the Mayor, the President, Makerere University, and the team from all the institutions. My inspirer, Honorable Councillor, yes. I take note of all of your commitments today. On behalf of my other colleagues, the Vice President, I will speak Luganda at some point, don't worry. I would like to reiterate what His Worship the Mayor rightfully said. The voice of the people, in Latin we say Vox Populi, Vox Dei. The voice of the people is the voice of the divine. I also would like to continue with the commemoration, the energizing, the remembrance of our gallant foot soldiers. I want to tell them as a mother, you have not died in vain. You are glorified, you are remembered, you are invoked every single day, every single moment. And can we observe a moment of silence in that respect? May their souls rest in eternal peace and power. Amen. Is Uganda's security secure? I was holding a debate with a very disempowered deputy RDC on radio. Very disempowered, because I think he even forgot half the instructions he got on radio in Busoga on Saturday. Because we first started by recognizing who our de facto and de jure president, the elected president of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Chagulani Robert. And so this RDC started panicking. Please do not speak about this. You know, this is treasonous. I said, I teach law. You cannot start telling me on radio here that you are now more a lawyer than me. You are not, okay? One of the things they are right now doing, as we stated earlier on, is pressing panic buttons because they wait for one instruction. One. And we don't know at what time that instruction comes. I want to salute the people of northern Uganda. Lira, you also. Lira, you also. And let's continue with that. Let's continue with the organizing. We have been banned even to speak in public. We've been banned. I was told not to step in Arua. And I'm coming, by the way. RDC, Arua, RCC, you'll be on notice. I am coming. Because that is my region. We are a generation fearless. Because we are not criminals. The criminals want us to look like we are criminals. No. We resolved we are not going to accept that. I would like to speak specifically and remind ourselves, because they would like always, we are lamenting, and yet we said we're in the book of the Acts of the Apostles and going to Revelation. What are our core governance issues that must continue to make sure we are priceless? Our honor is not on sale. No. National unity and reconciliation. Kati bagamba oyo Muslamu, this one is a criminal, oyo mulugwara, oyo nedda. Ebya national unity and reconciliation. We are hurting. We are hurting kubanga batutedayo ku box oli wano kati ono ali wano. We should refuse that, and we must continue to make sure we break these boxes. We build bridges. They have put us in walls. 2, sovereignty of the people. Katolabe, they come to your house. A man is with a wife at that moment, and you pick this man, rudely interrupt his manly duties and kill him. What level of evil is that? We are guarding Uganda's national independence. Kakati fena. Mentally, people are imprisoned. Don't come. Please, I want my job. Do not step here in Lira. Do not step here in Gulu. People are mentally, totally. Those are diseases. I pity them, by the way. I pity them. Respect for human rights, constitutionalism, and the rule of law. Zero tolerance for corrupt practices. We are going to buy you. If we don't buy you, we are going to intimidate you. If we don't intimidate you, we are going to kill you. Oh, Jesus Christ. Lean and efficient public administration. You have seen how they are quarreling all over because they are too large. They do not know each other's duties. Strength of the state institutions. We were having a conversation with somebody who said, by the way, in Uganda now, we don't even have a state institution. We have a cult. They are cultists. You know, for us, we want to demystify that. We want strong institutions. Respect for cultural diversity. It is okay to be a Lugara. Nechirungi okubera Omuganda. Okutambula nga Omuganda. It's okay to be an Acholi. We celebrate wherever we're coming from. That is what we believe in. To lose everything called human. Please let us know. Let us not do that. Yes, let us know. Because the timing is on our side. The generations are on our side. The people are on our side. Everything actually is, even God is on our side. I want to speak specifically to the mothers, the spouses. We are encouraged by your courage. Please, let's continue to organize, especially as the mothers, in prayers, in solidarity, in business, because we must remain very stricted. He's one. He changed his name from Seven to Tiba. Somebody, I don't want to bite my tongue. Okay? Yes. So we need to do that. We need to do that. And I would like to recognize the Makerere group. Please, can you stand up? You made us very proud. You are still making us. Hey, Makerere Oye! Hey, Makerere Oye! Hey, Makerere Oye! Hey, Nupoye! Hey, Nupoye! Thank you very much. Congratulations. We're now dealing with the generation now. I would like to recognize the presence of those from Move. Yes. Move. Move, please. Yes. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Those from Gulu and other institutions, are you here? Yes? From? Yes! Oye! Mbararoye! 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 Webare kuisha. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we are taking the institutions by storm. Okay? So I want to conclude by saying we will continue to do what we do best. Stay in solidarity, stay focused, stay with the truth, and stay bold, because we are definitely stepping in the new Uganda. Robadoba of it. Yes. People power. Our power. People power. Our power. NUP. And everywhere. Award 4. Oritia. 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 Thank you so much.
Award 4 Angiri. Oritia. Oritia. Okay, I see some hands up for some quick questions. I'll begin with Shamim, then I'll come to Vate.
YouTube yani asabula. Yani.
Baada ya vitu vingi ya mani.
Yes, Vate. Yes, Derek. Yes, Lawrence. Ekibuuzo ekyo nga sikitegedde. Okay. Okay. Yes, Frank.
Minisita w'ebyenjigiriza yayise ababaka ba paalamenti basisinkane e Kololo ku nsonga z'okulaba butya bwe banaggulawo amasomero. Ababaka ba NUP be bamu ku abo abakola entuula za paalamenti. Muli wiringi okugenda n'ekyo minisita kye yayise okuba nti mwesitula okuva mu paalamenti mugende musisinkane minisita e Kololo.
Okay. Lawrence, Mr. Museveni, of course, having forced himself on the people of Uganda as commander-in-chief, he is the one that orders his troops to do whatever they do. Remember when Zebra Mando was killed, Senyange? He said, yes, it is my boys, my security operatives that went and killed Zebra. He said that on TV. Of course, up to now, Zebra's family has not gotten justice. Museveni's SFC is the one that killed Yasin Kauma in Arua. And Museveni patted them on the back. Said they did a good job. In fact, even the Chagulanyis who were beaten properly. He said it. And so on and so forth. So, without a doubt, the buck stops with him. So somebody cannot say that, no, these guys who are, carrying out these extrajudicial killings are doing it without his green light. Of course, they're doing it with his green light. Because if they were not, he would have called them to order. But he does not call them to order. So, and that's why we took him to the ICC together with this son of his. They must be answerable. Derek, and Lewis will, since he also talked about it, regarding the welfare, but also alternatives. You asked about alternatives as far as this is concerned. I actually thought, I hope Derek didn't come late, because at the very start, I listed what we think should be focused on quite a great deal. Derek, were you around earlier? Or you want me to go over them again? Because there are quite many, the issues we are talking about, how we should not do profiling. We should look for terrorists and not people of a particular religion. How we should invest more in crime intelligence as opposed to political intelligence, improve the welfare of the people who are meant to do this critical work. Because these big bosses with their big stomachs who sit in their offices are not the ones that go around gathering intelligence. So as they feed themselves well, we are saying, can they take care of the foot soldiers too, who are doing the running around? Because they're the ones that gather all this. Then building trust within the population so that the population can get to trust the armed forces and avail information. So all these issues we adumbrated. I also talked about poverty, which is one of the causes. Finally, Frank, Mrs. Museveni inviting MPs, in fact summoning MPs to come to Kololo. You see, it's unfortunate that dictators all read from the same script. They will roughshod over the country, not just themselves. You'll find the dictator is giving trouble to the country. His wife, if they have a wife, will follow suit. Their children will also do the same thing. You remember Robert Mugabe in Zimbabwe? His wife, Grace Mugabe, was running a show, intimidating everybody, persecuting everybody because she's the wife of the president. So we are seeing the same thing. How does Mrs. Museveni, who is a minister, say that you MPs, if you want to talk to me, I am inviting you to Kololo. Come to Kololo. You must do COVID tests. You don't come with your phones. Their phones are actually taken. Now, if you go with the phone, you leave it at the entrance to Kololo. This is kamanyiro of the highest order that Mr. Museveni and his family are imposing on Ugandans. So as Mr. Museveni is wreaking the havoc he's wreaking, his wife is also doing what he's doing. Then they also have this son of theirs who is there. So we disagree with this state of affairs. And we are hoping that members of parliament, not just those who belong to NUP, but even if you're an MP belonging to NRM, for heaven's sake, know your mandate. Because ministers are answerable to parliament. But now, very soon, I'm sure she'll be inviting them to her home. Because now she's saying, if you want me to answer questions regarding education, come to a place of my convenience, do COVID tests, don't come with your phones. This is kamanyiro. I hope that MPs can stand up and say no. Of course, some of us, as much as what this information, no, we are saying no. Madam, you decided to become a politician. Toe the line. You're a minister. All ministers are expected to come on the floor of parliament and answer questions. Not just to us as MPs, but to the country. So for her to say, if you want questions answered, come to Kololo, do COVID tests, leave your phones at parliament, that is kamanyiro of the highest caliber. And I'm hoping that parliament will say no to this. Because we cannot run institutions like this, that somebody feels she's very powerful. Then stop being a minister, remain as first lady. You decided to become a minister, you must be answerable. Ensonga eyo eya mukyala Museveni okugamba ababaka, kubanga ababaka bazze tuze nga tubuuza ku nsonga z'ebyenjigiriza bitambula bitya. Twagamba nti minisita ow'ebyenjigiriza mukyala Museveni yaje mu parliament abitubulire nga minisita bonna. Naye kakati ye omukulu awulira wa kitalo nnyo. Naga nti ababaka oba mwagala mbanyonyola ensonga zino mujje Kololo. Musooke mukole mwekebeze COVID ate bwe muba mujja temujja n'amasimu gammwe, bwe mujja nago bajja gatwala wali ku gate nga muyingira. Bane kano kamanyiro ka kikaaki. Mwami Museveni already yatuzimbako akayumba tukyalwana naye, ate kakati n'omukyala naye agala tuleetako lugezigezi. Ate nga n'omukyala bw'akola byakola balina noono mutabani we naye ali eri. Bane mutulekeemu mutubalemu ku magezi. Madamu wasala okufuuka minisita. Teri yabikutumayo, teri yabikukaka. Oga nti kakati oyagala okufuuka minisita. Baminisita balina okujja mu palamenti ne bannyonnyola ensonga. Tebanyonnyola just babaka, bannyonnyola ggwanga. So kakati bw'oba owulira nti gwe oli wa kitalo nnyo tojja kubisobola. Obwa minisita tulina abalala abalina n'obuyigiriza obusinga obubwo abasobola okukola omulimu guno. Bekulira abanaasobola okujja mu palamenti bannyonnyola ensonga zino bakole omulimu guno. Si byampaka bannange. Lawrence, ensonga za oba mwami Museveni yaduumira abajaasi be okukola ebintu bino bye bakola. Mwami Museveni yeepaatika ku bannayuganda.